So we are going to use NLog for that today, but before we get started, let's go through kind of where we are with the overall project. So we started off with a basic app. Actually, we really started off with nothing. It was the epitome of the Hello World app. We walked through the IDEs, integrated development environments that we planned on using, Visual Studio Code, and JetBrains Writer. We then started from scratch with nothing, did file new, and started working on our models. And we've been working on a contact tracking application, manage first name, last name, that kind of stuff. We then built out business layer and started working on our data layer. You can see here, we have videos and links to any of the code that we've added. We've also added the links. So if there's any products that we use or third-party libraries or helpful guides, we added them here. So here when we were adding SQLite, we ended up going and adding in any framework core, looked at SQLite connection strings, as well as SQLite database. We then went and added unit tests to the application. We then built out a separate data layer to make it easier for us to track. And I forgot to mute my phone. Phone now. Doesn't keep going off all day. We then introduced Auto Mapper, which allows us to kind of translate between the data store and our domain models. After that, we introduced a web API. We went around documenting the web API, then added authentication. We then spent about a week or so building out our MVC application, the client app to use it. And then we migrated it over to SQL Server. Primarily did that so that we can deploy to Azure. Not that Azure can't run SQLite, but just wanted to show how flexible the application was for us. We then spent 3 days migrating it to the cloud, mostly because me making mistakes along the way, which is fine. I mean, it just goes to show that we're not all great at this, and if you don't do it on a regular basis, you tend to forget. Then yesterday or Saturday, I forget which, we added application insights to our application. We can now actually view the app online. If we go to see in the app, I'll paste it in the chat. And it's the first time it's coming to in a while, so the app had to start up. Go visit the contacts, and this is a known issue with the identity provider that I'm using, only because it uses token store for it, and I need to convert it to use SQL for the token. So for now, we're just going to clear all the cookies for the site, and then it'll work. It'll reprompt us for the connections and go out and get it. Maybe later on today we'll go, and the identity framework package has been updated. So we'll do that and add the SQL Server provider to it. And here's our contacts application. But we don't know when there's errors. So like that error that we just got, I don't really know what's happening. So this is where we're going to go and add in this NLog. So if you go to nlog-proj.org, you'll see how we can go and add it. And there's lots of different things. Essentially, with most logging frameworks, there is the actual logger, which logs to one or more ways. In the Log4Net framework, they call it appenders. Here they call it targets. Essentially, these are different sources that you can send log messages to. Out of the box, you get the console. So if you're running in a console app, you'll get the messages there. But they support the ability to send it to, as you can see, files, event logs, emails, right to ASP core, database, and lots of others. We're going to probably work on the console right now and then maybe add in the database support. It's actually pretty easy to add database support to it, and that's what I use for a lot of my apps. You also have templates that allows you to change what the layout looks. We're going to start with the basic out of the box. So how do we get started? Let's do the getting started. And you can see here we have a couple different options: getting started with .NET Framework, ASP Core, logging, or structured logging. So we're going to go with ASP.NET Core, and we are using .NET Core 3. So the guide is pretty simple. It tells you everything you need to do step by step. So we're going to start off with adding this package, which is essentially these two lines. So let's go and do that. We're going to want to do this in the API app as well as the UI app. Let's get it working in the web app first, and then we'll add it to the API. So I didn't check see if that writer started. Yes, I do. I have 2 copies of the contacts open. So let's make sure I have the latest version here because I made some updates yesterday. Git pull. I'm going to change my IDE settings again. Okay, I'm at the latest. So first thing we're going to want to do is update the NuGet packages. So let's go here and do NLog. We'll see we got a couple. We got NLog, Web ASP Core, and a couple of others. So let's go here and add that to the web UI. And then add that to the web UI. And then we are going to want to add a target to the database. Targets dot. Maybe I don't need one for that. It might be built in. Yeah, it looks like it's built in. Good. One less package we have to do. So now it's there. We can probably close this version of the app. Let's get this out of the way. We don't need it right now. Next step is to create the NLog config. Now we're just going to copy this default one and we'll tweak it as we need to. So let's go here, add new file, and call it nlog.config. We can actually create this in our own app settings, but having it separate allows you to control it a little bit easier. And by default, the library looks for this file nlog config. Yes, I want to add it, paste it in here. So if we take a look at this file, a couple of things. We'll see that it's logging to this file in the event that there's problems. I don't know what this will do on the Mac right now, so I am just going to, since we're on the Mac, just change this to user/JoeG /projects, just in case we get any configuration errors. Here we're telling it that we want to add the assembly web .asp.NET Core that kind of loads in all the details around ASP.NET Core. Then we have two different targets set up. The first one is going to write to the file name. I should increase this font. It's pretty tiny on the screen. Give me a second. Do you want to do that? Why can I figure out what these settings are? I did that. Window semicolon. I messed around with the fonts on my other machine yesterday. Oh, come on. Now it's not loading again. I'm using the EAP version of Writer, and there is a problem with one of the plugins that's causing the application to fail miserably. It's this Azure plugin. Let's see if I can increase the font size this way. No, I cannot. Let's search. Oh man. Way to window. Even the zoom is turned off, probably because it's in full screen and docked. Let's do restore default layout and try that. Nope. Okay. Well, we'll have to deal with this size. Hopefully you're looking at it a bigger screen than I am right now. So this is probably gonna fail as a result. So let's just do this to the local directory. This will say create a file called nlog-all- and then this is short date. So it's going to use a short date format. In our case, what's today's date? The 20th. So it'll be probably 07-20-20. And then the layout's going to use all this here. So essentially a long date, the event ID, which is a randomly generated number, the log level, we'll cover the log levels in a minute, the logger, that's the actual application, any message, and then if there is an exception, formats it out. And then creates the ASP.NET Core log using that OWN, which probably stands for the old Owen name of it. Here the rules kind of tell us what we're going to log. So here says we're going to log everything. And then here we are going to say anything with Microsoft dot with the level of info we are going to log. And then here anything else with the trace we're going to write to the target called own file web, which is this one here. So now we have this set up. Ignore these errors there because it doesn't recognize this. Let's see what else we need to do. Enable copy if newer. Yeah. Content, and that should be good enough for us. But let's just double check and make sure this is in here. Edit. Node modules. I don't see it anywhere, so let me just triple check one more time. Nope, 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 nope. So let's just add it here, and this tells us that we're going to get the latest and greatest. Now we need to update the program. So this requires just a little bit of work. So let's copy and paste there, and this wants it in the main. So let's go to our main and program. And I'm just going to paste, and then we'll go and tweak. Yep, we just need to remove this line. And why are you complaining? Great type web. Why is it? Oh, wait, because I don't have. I did add, and didn't I add? Thought I added the dependencies, packages, NLog. I added NLog. Why are you complaining? Oh, because I didn't add the other project, the web version of it. Thought I did. Oh, didn't click the plus. My bad. Now, if we go back to this program, it should be good in a second or so. Yep, there it is. Let's get rid of all these. Okay, so now the code is saying we're going to create a logger. We're going to configure it. This is the file name we're going to use and get the current class logger. So it's going to essentially create a logger called context.webui.program. And then init main, or we can say starting main. We don't need to put like web UI or anything because it's automatically going to have context.webui. And then this is the standard starting our app. And then this is if there's any errors on startup, let's log them. And then when we're done, this kind of clears up, make sure we flush out any logs that we have and are ready to shut down. Now we need to go and add this into the host builder, which should be right here. Now let's copy this whole thing. Yeah, I'm just double checking to make sure we didn't forget anything. Yes, add in the missing references. So here we're doing the same web builder that before. The only difference is now we are getting rid of the default logger that's there. And then we are adding the NLog. So telling NLog to use this as the logging mechanism throughout. So that's the setup for the program. The logging configuration overrides any calls to set minimum rather. So either remove the default or just adjust it. Oh, so we can essentially saying remove this logging here, which is this default. Let's go and do that because we want the logging to be controlled by that. And then write logs. So most of this hasn't changed, but let's just go and double check that it's there. Let's take the home controller and do something like this. I'm just going to copy and paste this so we can have it on the screen, and then we'll tweak it as needed. I want to be in the controller, home controller, and let's just see what this says. We got the logger. All that stuff is already in there because we had the basics out of the box. So we're good there. So now if we log here, we can do something. Oh, we gotta add that to the cache. So let's do underscore logger dot log information a view to the index page. Now if we got everything right, that should be all we need to do. We got everything right, we should be logging this to 2 files. Now the only thing I'm concerned with are these file paths, so I might have to change them just to get it working on our machine. So let's go and start the web UI. And if we watch the console here, stuff should be written here. So everything actually should be written now because we got to the index page. So let's see if those files got created. So let's open up Finder. And if we got it right, it should have went to the root of projects. So let's close out all those others. Close that out. Nothing went to the root of projects, which is good. That means that there were no errors. The rest of it should have gone to our bin directory for the web app. So web UI, bin, debug. Let's open you up. ASP.NET Core 3.1. And we should have, I already forgot what the file names were. Here they go, 2 files. NLog all and NLog Owen. So let's check the all. And let's open it with, let's just do insider. And where is that Finder again? Let's go and just drop these 2 bad boys onto here. And now you see we have that debug message saying starting main. That's the code that we wrote. And then a bunch of Microsoft messages. Here we're starting a listener on here, app startup, hosting environment, blah, blah, blah. And this is the last message. We created a view to index page. So we got logging successfully. And then this is the everything else. So this is just the logging that we set. The all was everything including Microsoft, and this is just ours. So that's awesome. We got the logging working. Now we can go and add in other things to it. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, let's look at logging to a database. So let's check out the installing targets. Oh, this is if you want to create your own target. I don't want to do that. Let's see. Oh man, there are a lot of targets now. Over 90 different targets. These are different ways that you can write off to. So if we look, we got the colored console file. We can send it via emails. We can write to different databases. We can filter them. This will only show us certain messages. We can write out to other sources like the debugger, ASP.NET Trace, Elmer, what else we got here? Glimpse, MSMQ, SignalR. We can write out to Google logging, exceptionless, Logify. Ooh, App Insights. We're gonna probably want to do that one. So I'm gonna go look at that. Let's just open that new link. Since we already added Application Insights, we're gonna want to do that. Oh, we can write to queues, write to table storage. It's another helpful tip if you don't want to mess up your database or have a separate log for the database. Typically, I would only log exceptions to the database, but you can log a lot more. What else? Memory can write out to web services or refer straight to Windows Forms. Cool. So let's go to the database. I'm opening these as links in new tabs because I'm going to put them in the show notes. This repo is in the process of being migrated. Dun, 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 dun. So this is what we are going to want to add. And let's go and do that. Microsoft App Insights NLog target. So let's stop you. Oh, let's do the database first, right? Database has a lot of options, but these are everything that you can set up for it. If you scroll down, it kind of walks it through more details as to how to get it going. So I am going to start with the basics. And this should be built out of the box, so I don't need to add another provider. Good. So let's copy this target, but we're going to go and tweak it. And we put a new target here. There's a lot of stuff here. So name, let's call this SQL Server. I don't have a SQL provider started. Okay. And then we need the provider name. So let's go down to provider. Let's call it SQL Server. Connection string. I think we have one. Oh, we don't have one set up for here. We don't have one set up here because we don't have the database access to here. So that is going to be troublesome for now. Let's add the target for the API. For this one, we're just going to add App Insights to it. So let's go and add App Insights, and let's minimize use so I have more room. Microsoft App Insights, Application Insights target and log target. Add that to Web UI. Install. And then from here, we want to add the extension, the NLog target. So let's go here, extensions, and then add in this target. Add in the new target. and it needs the application insights key, which I have somewhere in here. Here it is. You can control this via uh, code also, but we're just trying to be a little bit easier right now. Paste that here. And lastly, here. Another way we can do it in code. And let's add a rule to log minimum level to here. So this says everything else throw to the AI target, which is that new one. So now if we run it, we should see code here. Let's go back to home, make sure we generate a message. We should have generated a message. Now let's see if that actually went to App Insights. So portal.azure, log in, and let's go to this one. Got a failed request. 10:30 this morning. Oh, that was the authentication part. So let's go with search. Click here, see all data. Pardon if you hear my dog barking. Where am I looking? Right here. Get favorite. Oh, come on, where are you? Might not be here yet. It takes a second or so to update for it to push out. Where are you? Let's do live metrics and then we can see it there. Okay, let's just reload this page. It should generate another message. We look at our log here. We see we just generated one at 11 o'clock my time, which is an info. So we should see that in here. It's only got traces. Why can't I see you? Let's go with the metrics. I think I can do events. Or nope, not what I want. No, it's not search. Which one is it? Let's see if it is search. It should show me every message. Ah, here it comes. The get happened. There it is. It just takes some time. So you can see we got a trace message, a view to the index page. It took a couple of seconds, but it's there. And then you can filter down here. I can see all my requests, all dependencies. So the App Insights one was relatively easy to do. So let's get this working now in our API project. So I think I added the dependencies. Let's just double check. We're going to want to add that to here too. And NLog. add that to here. Add this to here. And now let's go, and we can pretty much just copy and paste this for now. Edit, copy, edit, paste. The only thing we have to change is the App Insights ID. We don't want to log to the other one. So let's copy and paste this bad boy. And where did you go? There you go. We need to set this property right. So edit. Yes, proj. Where's the other one? UI. There we go. And now we just need to update the program. So let's go here. All this program is the same. So let's copy and paste this. Actually, I can just copy and paste the whole file. At least I believe it's the same. Where are you? Program. Yeah, it's the same. Now the configuration is done. We should get starting API. And let's just change the configuration. So this is NLog all dash API, NLog own dash API, and let's just change these to web UI. Web dash UI. This way we keep the logs separate. I mean, it can still write all to the same place, but we want them controlled slightly differently. So that should be it. Let's go and see if we have any log. I don't think we used the logger at all here. Let's do get contacts. We should have an underscore. Ooh, didn't inject the logger here. Private read only. Logger, and this is I think that's the one I want to add, and it's going to be of type contacts controller logger logger. I think I could just do the logger. Let me double check. Controller, logger home controller. I need to logger that home controller. Okay. So logger contacts controller logger, and here underscore logger equals logger. Now we should be able to write. So here, if I do underscore logger dot log info call to get contacts, and it should log out that call to contacts. So let's get this started. Launch API. And then only because I don't feel like opening up Postman, we're going to launch the UI and access it from the UI. And then we'll check logs to make sure they're there. Now we should have at least one message there. Now we're going to do this one. Hopefully this doesn't fail. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Invalid status code. Why did you fail? All else fails, let's delete the cookies because it's probably corrupted. It's taking way too long. What if I broke something locally when I was trying to get it to work last night? Contents, what's broken? Invalid status code. That means an error came back from the contact service. Well, why did you fail? Is it not running? It is running. Let's see if there's any messages here. Where's my console debug? Build, nope. Oh, I'm running, so I can't see the actual messages. Up and up. But luckily we got the logger installed, so we can go and figure it out. As you see, there are 2 new files here. Oh, but the API is not working. Oh, I got something wrong with the API. Just get rid of U files and let's see if it successfully wrote. The NLog failed here. No, it did not. So let's see what's broken with the... Oh, the API actually would be here. Bin, debug, net core app. And where are you? Let's get you up here. Yes, I know it's deleted because I deleted you. Oh. Huh? ASP developer exception. Oh, duh. I didn't start the database. Silly me. Let's go get the database started. Yesterday I was playing around on a side project that I've been working on for future stream or to help with streaming. And I kept running the app and it kept failing. I'm like, why are you failing? So I step by step didn't realize I added queues to the saving, and it was like a to do that need to get it to work, but I haven't picked up the project in like 2 weeks, so I totally forgot I needed the queues in there. So I went and added it and got it working, but it was perplexing me for a while. I need to, like, before I finish, that's not what I wanted. I need to, before I finish an application, go and say, hey, this is what I worked on and this is where you've finished off. start the database. And we're starting. Now the API should be working. So let's go here and choose contacts. There we go. Helps when there's a database present. Click here just to view, not that it matters. Now if we go to App Insights and look for that, we should see a couple of errors because we had, see a bunch of failed errors because we had database issues. If we click here, we'll see we get some 500s. And if we look at those, they're probably just a database, yeah. So we know that failed, and we got SQL exceptions because the database wasn't on there. So that's good. Let's go and check the search, and we should get the same look and feel. We got 2 exceptions here. It says the server was not found because I forgot to start it. Here's a dependency we can see. So we're starting to see all them tied together. If we look at the application map, should see that there's a database in here. And that one failed because there was actually no database. So we're good to go. Now let's see about logging to database. Or should we even log to a database? Let's go through and we can look. So let's stop all these. So stopping all of our apps. And to log to the database, we are going to need to do a couple different things. I think it's out of the box, so I don't think we have to do anything. We just have to add in the connection string name and the provider. So I'm just going to copy all this to make sure. See if there's a sample here. Usually there's a sample we can do. So here's the script to create the database. So let's go and do that. Data Studio. And of course you appeared on a secondary screen. I gotta really remember to shut these down. Don't save. So let's do this one. What happened? Why ask me if I want a tour? I've done this like a billion times already. Cancel. Let's connect with cancel. Then I'm gonna add helper. I don't remember what the password is. Pull you off the screen for a second. I have problems with using a super secret password or password manager. Don't remember. But the good thing is I can go back and get it from somewhere. Funny thing was, Visual Studio already had it highlighted because I copied it so many times. And let's put remember because I'm tired of typing that in. I'll need to go and recopy back out the table creation. Oh wow, this really changed the look and feel. If I run this, this should be enough for the database. And just so we don't forget, I am going to run it against this bad boy. No, I don't want to run it against that user. I want to run it with that user. And then do new query against contacts. And closing these down so don't forget. We're going to keep this one open because we're going to just do a select from logs. Select star from logs. Or what did I call it? I thought it was logs. DBO log. The IntelliSense probably didn't update because it didn't know I did the create, but it's there. Okay, what's next? So we want this command text. So let's copy all this out. See, let's get this target here. Now we want to change the connection string and don't want to use a connection string. So what was the property called? Connection string name. No, that wasn't it. What was it called? It was called connection string. Oh yeah, it was called connection string name. Duh. So we don't need that because that's the physical connection string. We already have a connection string. So let's do connection string name equals, and what did we call it? Connection string SQL. Now, if we got this correct, we just need to add a rule. Let's add a rule, and we call this target was database, I believe. Yep. Nope. Yes, database. Now, typically you'd want to log other stuff, otherwise your database is going to be massive, but I'm just going to show this way, and then we will probably comment out these and remove them. So let's start the API. And start the web UI. Contact viewer, view contacts. Come on. Yay. So now we should have a record in here. If I rerun this. Nope, didn't work. What did I miss? What did I miss? It says run everything, run it through the database. We add logger here. Let's just do log trace. Nope. Start that one. We want to restart this one. If this doesn't work, we'll check for the log file and see if there's a problem with the database. The good thing is, if you misconfigure it, it still doesn't destroy your application, which is good to know. So it takes a second or so to get it working, and once you actually get it working, then set it and forget it. You never have to worry about it again. Click on context. Oh, yeah, I did. I forgot that it shows a list. So let's rerun this. Nope, nothing is in there. So let's go and check the configuration. Where's my Finder window? Visual Studio Code. You should be open somewhere. You are open down here. Any framework, relational, got a problem. Unhandle exception while executing the request. Is that the right time? 10:09. Nope, that's not the current one. Let me reopen those, make sure that they're there. Since those are not updating, there's probably something else wrong with it. So let's go and check the projects folder. Yes, we should have an NLog there. Nope. Where did I put it? If there is a problem, rules, target is right. Connection string name, did I name it correctly? I probably have to put the provider. It looks like it defaults to that provider. It should be right. It was connection string name, right? Where are you? Command type, default is text, which is what we have. Connection string name, the name of connection string to look up in app config. Since primary name attribute isn't required anymore, and DB provider will be used as a fallback. So that should be right. DB provider, let's just put it in there just to make sure. Rather be explicit than not. DB provider, SQL Server, comma, connection string name. Not supported. Bummer. See that right there. That means we need this full connection string. Bummer, bummer, bummer. So where is that? Let's go back here. And oops, wrong way. We got that, and then we had a connection string. Let's see. This one. Copy paste fail. Now that's good. Now let's restart it. Once that's restarted, we can go and give it another shot. Contact viewer, home, contacts. Now let's go back and rerun this. Ah, man, it's still not working. What is the matter? NLog configure, want it database, provider, SQL server. Let's go back to the sample it gave us and see. Connection string. Sure I have the syntax right. Connection string. Trulix. If I type something wrong, I'll be mad. Target name database. Logger, write to database. Should be good. Control S. Stop and rerun. Oh, this is failing because of no forward slashes. Probably can't translate that. I'm going to restart that just because the API changed, and maybe that'll help us debug it if there's a problem. For some reason, the API keeps starting on a different window. I don't know why. Home. Contacts. Go back to the database. Hit run. Still not working. Go to Finder. Projects. Internal log. So let's see what we did. You there? Nope. Visual Studio Code. We want you there. SQL Server Client. Oh, it needs a database target in there. SQL Data Client. Okay. That's easy to do. So let's stop API. Go here and do, what was it? Microsoft SQL Data Client. System.data.SQL client. System.data.SQL client. and add that to the API. So what I mean by failing gracefully, it's able to fail and didn't break the app. So logging should not do it. And Log4net does the same thing. So no matter which logger you choose, they all are smart about it. As soon as that starts, we can go back to our application. Click on Home. Click on Contacts. Go to our database. Hit Run. Yay, there we go. Starting our API. It ran and ran successfully. I'm not sure why the trace logs aren't there, but that's just probably a rule setting that we have. You can see we can log to a database, we can log to a text file. There's multiple ways to log, and they're all covered within here and the configuration. That's all I had for today. Hopefully you got something out of it, and look to see how you can add logging to your applications going forward. Have a great day, all.